Hey, hey. Hi. Okay, so I'm here to talk about the fact that a lot of my videos as of late has been pretty serious. And I'm also here to remind you that life doesn't always have to be so serious. So, we're gonna be a little playful. We're gonna be a little playful today. Does that feel awkward for you? See people just be like weird and goofy? Play literally is what actually saved me in my caregiving days. If you've seen any of my videos all the way through, I've touched on this briefly. I literally started to become a very playful artist, still am, because I was in the absolute depths of what darkness could be for me when I was a caregiver, and I did not know how to get out of it. And so I just started playing, splashing paint, and like we would have dance parties, and I would jump on the trampoline and be silly and make goofy moves, and I literally just tapped into that joy that we have as children that we then feel a little bit too awkward to tap into when we're adults, because we have to be so stoic and so like, oh, look at me, I'm a professional, I'm a grown-up, I care what people think about me. Why are we doing this to ourselves? Seriously. First of all, if somebody feels uncomfortable by watching you just freely express yourself, that is something they should be looking at, not judging you. If they don't feel comfortable watching you freely express themselves, it's because they don't feel comfortable freely expressing themselves. Guess whose problem that is? Not yours. Okay, so seriously, if you can find it in you to actually just allow a little of your quirkiness, a little of that thing you feel weird and awkward about yourself out, it actually gives people permission to do the same things themselves. Because, to be honest, I don't think everyone wants to walk around being all stuffy and serious all the time. Life wasn't made for that. It was made to be like, whoa, look at the sun hitting that tree. Listen to that bird. Look at the color of that flower. Oh my God, do you hear this song? Let's dance. Who cares if people think we have rhythm? Let's just move our bodies freely. Let's dress how we want to. Who cares if somebody's like, oh girl, you're wearing too many colors, or the wrong color for the season, or whatever. Like, just tap into that playful expression again. Because I promise you, life gets really good. Really good when you allow yourself to be in that energy. Healing, yes, is serious work for sure. There's so much importance. There's so much pain. There's so much trauma. There's so much just feelings, right? So many. Why not also allow some of that to be joyful? Why not allow some of that just being to freely express yourself? Why not allow some of that to just be playful? Don't you think that might make life just a little baby bit brighter? Just a little baby bit. Obviously, I'm very into talking things out. I'm a therapist. I'm very into the process. I'm very into reflection and self-awareness and journaling and stillness and meditating and allowing yourself to sit in the yucky feelings. I'm also into moving the yucky feelings out of your body in a playful way, because it doesn't have to stay stuck. You don't have to stay stuck. And as important as it is to genuinely feel the feelings, talk through them, process them, understand them, learn from them, hopefully grow from them, it's also important to not stay in them all the time. And so sometimes you have to be very intentional about finding things that will bring you out of them. And, dance parties have always been one for me. Art has always been one. That's why I love clothes. That's why I love getting dressed in the morning. I love doing a runway show with my outfits, because I'm like, hey, I'm feeling myself. How are you? I just really want to remind everyone that as serious as healing actually is, it also needs to be silly. It needs to be light. It needs to be playful. It needs to be whimsy and magical, and you need to look for the signs and the messages and the butterflies and the birds, and they exist to help you deal with the more serious things. And yes, pain is real, anger is real, Trauma is real. Anxiety, don't I know it? Very, very real. But when you allow yourself to access the little glimmers of light, it makes all of those dark moments a lot easier to move through, to process through, to heal through, to learn from. And that's really what I'm trying to do for y'all. I don't want everything to always feel so serious and stuffy. I'm a professional. For cereal, though, when I became a professional again, I became just a little bit more stuffy because I felt like I needed to water myself down, because I felt like I was supposed to be a blank slate and the therapist that doesn't have a personality. And what I really realized was that the way in which I can actually be of most service is to be myself. I use a lot of my own story within therapy, obviously with boundaries when it's appropriate. You know, we're not making it about me, but my experience has so much weight into what I carry into my message. And it doesn't always have to be serious. I sometimes get playful with my clients, and we joke and we laugh, and we'll have dance parties and we'll like be silly, and I'll laugh at myself, and I'll admit some embarrassing things to people, because let's be honest, sometimes it's nice to see the person that we look up to be like, oh yeah, guess what? I'm also human. And I just feel as if the world brings you so much seriousness that, yes, it's just tragic, and the feelings are real, the anger is real, the sadness is real, the heartbreak is real, the everything, all of it, very, very real, very, very heavy. If we're not also balancing it with the glimmers of light that still exist in the world, that no one's telling you about, by the way, you're not going to see people showing up in love on the news. You're not going to see sweetness and gentleness and kindness and creativity and play and delight and people still tapping into the human spirit of wanting to come together. I have found so many people on social media, whenever tragedies happen, just bring that community and that support to their people. You're not seeing that on the news. And so make sure you're being intentional about finding the light. And sometimes that means being intentional about creating little pockets of silliness and joy in your day just to survive the heaviness of the reality of the world. You have to do that. We have to remember that it's an inside job to find the light. Unfortunately, I don't believe that society is going to be like, here, let me hold your hand and take you to the happy place. Because when you're caught up in the doomsday, you're not able to actually be out making a difference in the world. And so, yes, there's a time and place for sitting in the sadness, sitting in the stuck, in the yuck, in the ick, in the anger, in the frustration, and we have to see it all. This is not a spiritual bypassing kind of YouTube channel. Absolutely not. There is a time for the stillness, for the tears, for the sitting in the bathtub crying about something that you can't get over. But then there's also a time for us to not feel like everything has to be so serious, that we can be joyful, we can tap into play. And sometimes the only way we can access that, I'm not deleting that, by the way, is to bring it upon ourselves, create it ourselves, bring the vibe, bring the dance, play, make art, just embrace all the awkward, messy pieces of life and just delight in the joyful things, the greenery, the trees, the birds, the light, the sun. If we actually set out to find some joy, just find some joy in the fact that I woke up today, I can eat and taste food, I can swallow, I can see things out of my eyeballs. Like, how cool is that? I can see the sunrise and the sunset. The sun feels so good on my body. Dog cuddles exist. Humans that make your stomach just go with butterflies exist. Connection is real. People caring about other people still exists in the world. Art exists. Can you see people just playing with colors and drawing things that are so perfect and abstract and wonderful and quirky and funny? Dancing exists. Our bodies are able to move if we are blessed enough. We have so many things that if we remember to access, that can make us feel joyful, thankful, delighted, light, airy, and just, I beg of you, tap into it. Only you can decide if you're going to bring that into your life or not. I can tell you it's important. I can tell you it's up to you. Only you can do it.